Welcome to From Betrayal to Breakthrough, and here's a mini dose of Dr. Debbie, where I'm sharing tips, suggestions, strategies, and sometimes just a little motivation to have you move past your betrayal once and for all. Hi there. So, over the last few weeks, I've been talking about what betrayal is, what it does to us physically, mentally, and emotionally. I went through the three discoveries, right? Number one, betrayal is a different type of trauma that needs a different way to heal. When we try to heal it just as if it were any other type of trauma, we stay stuck. I talked about the symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome. And even if our betrayal happened years, even decades ago, until and unless we deliberately and intentionally heal it, those symptoms follow us around in our work, in our health, in our relationship. And then last week, I talked about for me, which was the most exciting of the three discoveries, the 5 stages from betrayal to breakthrough. We briefly went through them. I briefly went through them and shared why is it that we get stuck in stage 3? What's common to all of the stages and how the order doesn't skip. You don't miss a stage, but if you are going to fully and completely heal from your experience, you will move through these 5 proven and predictable stages. So I want to wrap it up this week by talking about, what do you do with this now? So let's say you're a coach or a practitioner or a healer of some kind. How do you take all of this information and do something really powerful with it? So that's what we're diving into. So betrayal, unfortunately, whenever I speak, if I'm on someone else's podcast or summit or stage or whatever, I always hear, oh my gosh, I don't know anybody who hasn't been betrayed. It's the type of thing we just try to move past and we don't want to look at. But when you think about it, it's not necessarily, it just doesn't have to be those big, gigantic betrayals, but it could be the death by 1,000 cuts kind of betrayal. It could be just where you may have brushed it off thinking, oh, well, whatever, it's no big deal. But meanwhile, it's sitting with you and it's preventing you from having the confidence or the level of trust or whatever it is that you want. So even if they were, in your mind, let's say, a smaller betrayal that it should be no big deal, I should just be over it. You don't get over it until you move through it. So hopefully you see that so that you realize, wait a second, I haven't felt completely safe, or I'm always sort of on guard, or I'm always a little bit hyper vigilant. I don't trust, I don't feel confident. I don't put myself out there the way that I know I could if I didn't have this block in the way. And that was really, if that's what you got from the last few weeks, that's been amazing, because think about it. Imagine life with that block gone. Imagine the level of connection, of intimacy, right? Of confidence that you'd feel if that were out of the way. So I hope that that did something for you. And I also hope that you see, if you're walking around with these symptoms, they can be healed. And if you're numbing, avoiding, distracting, it's like you're putting your life on hold. I just had a meeting with one of our Transform members. These are the members who work with me at the highest level within the PBT Institute. And she numbs herself in front of the TV. That's her method of distraction. And she's realizing that everything she wants is waiting for her when she intentionally and deliberately does something different. So what I did was created this way that it was undeniable, where as she's walking towards the TV, she's making a choice to deliberately keep everything she wants on hold, because that's the holding pattern. When she's in front of the TV, it's as if she's saying, I'm just, I'm on hold. Nothing's happening. Life is on a big pause, and everything she wants is waiting for her as she makes a different decision. So when we see it, we can't change what we're not aware of. So when we see something, that's amazing. And then what do we do with it? We need that plan. And then of course, that's what's been keeping her in stage 3 for all this time. So, we talked about, just what goes on in the 3 stages. So let's talk about what do you do with this if you are a coach, a healer, a practitioner of some kind. You may have realized that, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm a life coach, and I'm helping people with move through these life decisions or find a new career or a new path, but their confidence is down, and that's why they've been kind of stuck. Or maybe you're a health coach and you're realizing, hey, you know what? I'm helping someone through, let's say, adrenal issues or adrenal dysfunction, but the reason why their adrenals have tanked is because of this unhealed betrayal from a long time ago. Or maybe you're a doctor, you're a gut expert, and you realize, oh my gosh, I put these people on these amazing protocols, and for some reason we just cannot get past a certain level of healing. Well, that's because 45% of everyone betrayed has a digestive issue. So if you're realizing that an unhealed betrayal is at the root of why your patient, why your client is only getting to a certain level of healing, that's who I'm speaking with today. And if this resonates, I really, really want you to join me for my upcoming masterclass on July 17th. I'll have all the information in the show notes, but just to give you the link ahead of time, it's going to be at the PBT, as in post-betrayal transformation, thepbtinstitute.com/certification-masterclass. So let's dive into this. What is PBT certification? What I do in this certification is move you through the 5 proven predictable stages from betrayal to breakthrough. And it's so interesting because who takes this certification? Usually it's someone who has been betrayed. They have gone through our program. They realize, oh my gosh, I healed from this. How do I not help other people? That's the typical profile we see. But maybe that's not even the case. But maybe you realize, wow, you know what? My clients and patients have been stuck. And this is a very underserved niche. And it is because so many people have been betrayed and they just go the routes that they know. And of course, we can't do something we don't know about, right? So the typical ways, if you don't know about PBT certification and you've been betrayed, the typical route would be, well, let me go to therapy. Now, I've talked about this in many of the episodes, well-meaning therapists, but if they are not highly skilled in betrayal, if anything glues you to stage 3, it's a therapist who is helping you, really best of intentions. You're feeling heard, you're feeling validated, you're feeling understood, and it's kind of keeping you glued to that stage 3. One of the other things that's happening is you may join a support group. And if the support group is more like an ain't it awful club where you're, like complaining about your experience and isn't it terrible and isn't it horrible, and then someone's like, oh, you think that's bad? Well, this happened to me and this happened to me, and now you will actually sabotage your healing because you found your people. So this will keep you stuck. Another thing that keeps us stuck is when we are so committed to the partner or the person who betrayed us, and that takes precedence over our healing. What we will do is we will start to heal and we will sabotage our healing because we are afraid to outgrow the betrayer. I see this a lot. Or we choose some way to numb, avoid, and distract ourselves. So it may make the day a bit easier to get through. We're not healing. Whether, whatever that distraction was, I told you that story about our Transform member who was choosing TV. We choose so many different things. You can choose work. You can choose exercise. So you're looking at it saying, but this is such a healthy, great thing I'm doing, right? It is, if that's the problem. Like, let's say you have this amazing fitness routine you started. Well, that's a great thing. But if you're using it to distract you from healing from your betrayal, it's a distraction, you see? So all of those are reasons why we're not healing. And in PBT certification, this is one of those things that I point out to you because we can, of course, as I said before, we can't change what we're not aware of. So what does certification look like? Well, the first thing we do is we put you through our signature program, the Betrayal to Breakthrough program, which literally moves you through the stages. And the reason why we do this is we want you to experience moving through the stages so that, first of all, you clean up anything lingering for you and you see what it's like. You get this felt experience as you move through the stages. And we have this milestones and markers checklist. So you literally do not leave a stage until you can actually check off every single thing that says, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm done. I've done that. I've completed that. I've done it. Go me. And then you move to the next stage. So we do that. The next part of this is we run you through the certification modules that talk about the 5 stages, but this time from the coach practitioner perspective. And I'm sharing some stories and some ideas and all kinds of handouts and all kinds of resources. And then there's a quiz, and then there's a case study conversation with me. And what I'm doing here is I'm giving you a few scenarios of people likely to come your way. And what I'm looking for is I want to know, do you know what stage they're in? And each stage is so classic for different things. And how would you coach them? So once you've done that, and then you've completed that, you become a certified PBT post-betrayal transformation coach or practitioner. So a certified PBT coach is a coach or healer of some kind. A PBT practitioner is a doctor, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor of some kind. And there's really, as far as it relates to a change or anything different in the certification, no difference at all. What I'm teaching you are the 5 stages, but the difference is in the title based on your expertise over the years. And if you were to work within PBT, there's a bit of a difference there. Other than that, no difference. The certificate you get and the logo you use, a bit different. Other than that, not really much of a difference. So that's what the certification is. And then we have what's called a business accelerator program. And what this is I've been in business 33 years. And the beauty of me being in business this long is I've made just about every mistake there is. So what I'm doing in this business certification for certified coaches or practitioners only is sharing with you the best practices and the biggest mistakes as it relates to. I've written 8 books, self-published, traditionally published, hybrid publishing. I've done audiobooks. Want to do one of those? I'll introduce you to my agent. I'll share with you what worked and what didn't work. And I have made such costly mistakes in all of those areas. Creating private label supplements and bars and shakes. Want to do that? I've done it. I can tell you why mine worked and then didn't work. I can tell you the whole thing. I've done 2 TEDx talks. How do you get a TEDx talk? How do you get them to say, that's a message worth sharing? And then how do you get it to over 1 million views? I can tell you because both of them have done well over 1 million. So, how do you do it? I can share that. Or how do you create a national holiday, right? The PBT Institute founded National Forgiveness Day. How do you do that? I can share that with you. How do you create either an in-person company or a virtual business? The PBT Institute was a live physical space. And then we eventually just went online because even the local people wanted to be virtual. How do you do both? How do you know when it's time to make that pivot? Programs, one-on-one, group, a combination. How do you do it, right? How do you do it? How do you know when it's time to do that? Retreats. I do retreats and I did a 3-day retreat. I do 1-day retreats. How do you keep the energy going? How do you create a curriculum that has people coming back, which I have? So these are and then of course, as I'm sharing the successes, I can promise you there have been a ton of mistakes along the way, and I'm sharing every one of those so that you don't do the same thing. How do you create a certification program that has people wanting to do it? I mean, all of it. So that's in our Business Accelerator program, only eligible if you're a certified or if you're doing our certification as a PBT coach or a practitioner. So these are questions I get all the time. Well, I'm not a coach or a practitioner, a therapist. What do I do? It's not required. If you're a coach or practitioner of some kind, you qualify to be a PBT coach. If you are a therapist, a counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, doctor, you qualify to be a practitioner. So that's not an issue. Now we've had, because I guess some people just didn't understand or whatever, they weren't qualified in any of those areas and they started taking our certification. Well, I couldn't finish the certification with them until they completed that. So they did the first part of it. They finished their certification, what they were doing, and then they came back and completed. That's totally fine too. So it's fine. I'm already certified. Okay, well, you're certified as a coach or practitioner. By the way, ICF, International Coach Federation, which is I believe the largest coach certifying organization, we are one of their providers. So you get, I think it's 4 CEUs for doing our certification. But even if you are certified, you're not certified in the 5 stages. There is nothing like this that exists with a proven, predictable roadmap, with a framework. That's what we're certifying you in. Very niched, very specific, but very relevant if you are working with people in business, maybe you're a corporate leadership coach, let's just say. Well, if that leader isn't making it to the next level of success, what if there's a relational issue at the root of it? This could crack that wide open and have that leader just take off, right? Or what if you're a mindset coach and someone is ruminating and marinating in the same stuckness because of a belief system that doesn't serve? You see? Or a health coach, like I mentioned. I mean, there's so many different reasons why this niche may be something that you're really looking to move towards these days. Will it grow your business? Well, I'm going to be sharing some real results from real graduates, and that's why I created the Business Accelerator program, exactly for that reason, because it's my greatest intention. Once these 5 stages showed up, and let me back up a little bit here. I'm a very private person, and think about it. Something like betrayal, that's like the favorite gossip of gossipers. And I was not looking forward to sharing my story and everything about it. But when the 5 stages showed up, it was like I didn't even have a choice, because to know that this could shorten someone's learning curve by decades and someone can actually heal and spare themselves the anguish and the physical, mental, and emotional symptoms and the stuckness, because I was afraid to speak up and I was afraid to be judged. I just knew I had to get out of the way. It wasn't quite that easy, but any good coach has a coach, and I may have shared this story on another episode, but I was on a Zoom call, and my coach was meeting with all, the group, and there were a bunch of us, on Zoom, and everybody was like, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? And everybody was sharing. And then it was my turn, and I was sharing all about the discoveries. And my coach points his finger at me and he says, stop hiding behind your effing study already. And I was like, oh no. And it was, very confronting. I was terrified. I didn't want to share something so deeply personal. I didn't want anybody looking at my family to judge in any of this. But I sat my whole family down and I said, you know what, I think it's time. And I remember writing my story in Trust Again. And I'll tell you, I said, my 4 kids, they were like, Mom, you're going to help so many people. My biggest supporter was my husband. That's how you know a betrayer has changed. And we teach this too. How do you know if it's safe and in your best interest to heal and rebuild with someone or heal and move on? Now, it is very common where the betrayer, they're feeling shame, they're feeling embarrassment, they don't want this known. So they don't mind you struggling and suffering in silence because their image is at stake. You see, that is not somebody who has changed. But then there are these betrayers who crash and burn, and they realize, oh my gosh, we're in whatever it takes mode, whatever it takes for you to heal from this. I'm all for it. So, and if not, that's okay too. If your message has to be shared, your message has to be shared to the extent and the level that you're comfortable. Anyway, it took a little bit of a detour over there, but just to say, when the 5 stages showed up, I put them into a program because I had to get this out to as many people as possible. So my intention is to, what's the greatest way to get this message out? Of course, I could share the 5 stages and I can share them on podcasts and summits and stages and within the PBT Institute to all of our members. But the greatest way to share this message is with as many coaches and healers who want to share the 5 stages, because that's how, think about it, for each coach, all their clients and can have now access to the 5 stages. Every doctor, their patients can have access to the 5 stages. And if I didn't see firsthand over and over and over again and experience it personally, how many health issues heal, how many physical symptoms, mental, emotional things heal, the life that's waiting for you when you enter into stages 4 and 5, I wouldn't be so bent on getting these stages out to as many people as possible. But it is as clear as day, where as you enter into the stage 4, you're just you're just so hopeful. You're like, wow, if I can do that, what else can I do? And that's when the downloads come in. And that's when you have ideas that show up and you're like, where'd that come from? Well, it came from this new space you've created. You're through the trauma and you're like, what else can I do? And new and beautiful relationships start coming into your life, whether it's with someone entirely new who you didn't have access to before because you were stuck in your trauma, or with the person who hurt you, but on a very, very different level, in a very, very different way. So like the PBT Institute, that was a stage 5 thing. Marrying my husband again is 2 completely transformed people. That was a stage 5 thing. And it happened to so many of our certified coaches and practitioners. So, this is, people struggle and suffer in silence, and there's no need to. We need to get this message out that you're not crazy, you're not alone, you can heal from all of it. And it's through the 5 stages. That's exactly how you do it. So if this resonates, if you're feeling like, wow, you know what, I've been a coach, I've been a good coach all these years, or I've been a healer of some kind, EFT practitioner, Reiki practitioner, mindfulness practitioner, whatever it is, if you're like, wow, you know what, but the people I see, I know this is at the root of it. Join me for my free masterclass. And again, it's July 15th. The link is the pbtinstitute.com/certification masterclass. If you're feeling like, you know what, it's time for a change, it's time for something new, there's no commitment. You just listen, just join me and trust your gut. People may lie, but your gut never does. If you get that feeling, like that sort of, that feeling, that kind of butterfly-ish feeling in your gut, and goosebumps, and you feel like, wow, it's sort of, unfamiliar but exciting, hopeful but exciting, trust it. If you get a feeling like impending doom, that's a no. But if you get a feeling like, could this be something? Then it may be. And I'm just so looking forward to seeing you on the masterclass. And if this is a fit for you, having you become one of our certified coaches or practitioners. And please share this with anybody you know. If you know of someone where they're looking for that next level, that next stage, that next version of themselves, this may be something for them to consider as well. And I will tell you also, just one final thing. When I remember a million years ago, I was a personal trainer. There were days I didn't want to work out. I just didn't, but I forced myself because I had to show up and I wanted to look the part. And I wasn't able just to kind of go down that rabbit hole of just like, I'm not doing it. And there's something about representing the work as a certified PBT coach or practitioner where it keeps you on your game, where, you know what, while the old you may have just gone down that sort of path of, I don't know, this will never change, I'm never going to grow, I'm never going to heal. When you're representing the work, you can't afford to think that way. Your clients and patients are looking at you for strength, for leadership, and it forces you to show up. So it's been one of the, it's really like a secret hack with some of our coaches and practitioners. I know it keeps me doing the work because I'm representing it as well. So if that's something that could help you, just another reason to join us. Again, it's a free masterclass. If it resonates, please share this with anybody you know who'd benefit from it. And again, the link is the pbtinstitute.com/certification-masterclass. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. You need the right tools, support, and the right community to move you through the 5 stages from betrayal to breakthrough. And we have all of that within the PBT Institute. So join us at the PBT, as in post-betrayal transformation, thepbtinstitute.com. There's a version of you who's so confident, healthy, peaceful, and happy on the other side of your healing, and we can't wait to help you get there. We got you. Thanks for listening, and here's to your breakthrough.